I'm working on something cool, but to do that, I need a little more time. And so this week, I'm releasing every short joke I wrote in 2025. Enjoy. Sabrina Carpenter released a deluxe version of her album Short and Sweet, adding 5 new songs. Now it's just called Long and Drawn Out. A couple had to sit next to a dead body on a flight for 4 hours. Even worse, the body had the middle seat and the armrests. TSA in New Jersey stopped a man with a live turtle in his pants, though the man claims he was just chilly. Pipe room. Pipe room. That's my favorite room. I'm sure you could guess. 5 fishermen have been found alive after spending over a month at sea. When asked how they survived, they replied, "There used to be 6 of us." Microsoft is planning on firing 6,000 employees. Now, if only they'd fire Copilot. My hometown was hit with a tornado tonight. Thankfully, nobody was injured, and the property value skyrocketed. A kindergartner in Pennsylvania brought Jell-O shots to their classmates, so you know they slept good at nap time. Studies show that psychopaths are more attractive than the average person, which raises the question, what are you hiding, Pedro Pascal? Doctors are working on a pill that could help you regrow missing teeth. This is great news for anybody that lives in Alabama. Sydney Sweeney is releasing a soap that's infused with her bathwater, and nobody's more excited about it than Glenn Powell. Chapel Rowan dressed up as a blow-up doll for Drag Race, which is fitting because Chapel also melts down when any sort of heat is put on her. I love Chapel. Please don't kill me, guys. Telegram gave over 20,000 different users' data over to authorities. But in Telegram's defense, I've never met anybody who was using Telegram for something that wasn't illegal. Walmart is mass canceling Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, leading many to ask, why would you pre-order this from Walmart? Elden Ring is getting a live-action movie. Rumor has it the movie ends with the director rage quitting the film and directing Bloodborne instead. Sydney Sweeney will be selling a soap infused with her bathwater. Unfortunately, the men that would buy that soap don't wash themselves. Sperm can survive up to 2 months in a male's body, and even longer in your mom. Penis size is being shown to increase significantly for people taking Ozempic, which is giving hope to wives everywhere. My wife is begging me to take it. A lady was arrested for attacking a child who called her Miss Piggy on a flight, and I actually have a picture of the lady attacking the child. Elden Ring is getting a live-action movie, and it will star Chris Pratt as Melina. Ozzy Osbourne will be selling a tea that contains his DNA and probably a couple of diseases. A hammerhead shark fell from the sky in South Carolina. Thankfully, though, a nurse shark was around to take care of its injuries. 16 billion passwords were leaked in a data breach, though I think about 80% of those were repeats. America just had its first Hetero Awesome Fest, a pride festival for straight people, and it took place in the closet. A mother in Kentucky was shocked to learn that her son ordered 70,000 dum-dum suckers from Amazon, though I think the real dum-dum sucker is the kid's mom. Olive Garden will be opening 40 new locations, which is great news for anybody who wants to eat fancy while still wearing a t-shirt. 54% of America now gets their news from social media, while the other 46% can't read. A store in Alabama was robbed by a man in a Scooby-Doo costume. Thankfully for police, the getaway vehicle was easy to spot. When I was growing up, my dad owned a nightclub, which really is just a cool way to say that he definitely used to do coke. Bill's production company has filed for bankruptcy. Rumor has it it's so bad, he might have to sell the mustache. The White House will soon be hosting a UFC fight, and the winner will get a cabinet seat. My house is haunted, and last night, the TV turned on by itself and started playing Dr. Phil. Apparently, my house is haunted by a middle-aged housewife. I don't know if I should be more afraid of the ghost or Dr. Phil's advice. For something that's dead, this ghost really lives for the drama. Sadly, Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. But, thankfully, his son Jack is a ghost hunter so maybe they'll get some good quality father-son time. Went from this legendary rock icon to a reality TV show star. And to me, that was weirder. It'd be like if somebody from Blink-182 became a Kardashian. Yeah, that happened though. That sucked.
My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney, Casper King.
Man, she's really making the most out of those SS initials. Nosferatu. Now, if I wanted to watch a vampire manipulate a young woman, I'd watch Twilight, because at least that has baseball. You know, with all this Epstein stuff, it really feels like Trump has turned the Republican Party from the party of law and order to the party of law and order SVU. AOL is officially ending its dial-up internet service. But don't worry, if you really need internet that's as fast as dial-up, you can always get Charter Spectrum. Matt Rife has bought the home of Ed and Lorraine Warren, so now he can be booed by both the living and the dead. George R.R. Martin was confronted by a fan who told him to hand over the last Game of Thrones book to another author. Too bad nobody did that with the show, though. I just saw that Taylor Swift has gotten engaged to Travis Kelce, and it just makes me so happy that Taylor finally decided to settle down and make Travis a wife. Disney has released a trailer for Marvel Zombies, a show where Marvel heroes become soulless husks of their former selves, just like the rest of the MCU. 50 million pounds of corn dogs have been recalled for having wood contamination, which is weird because I thought corn dogs were supposed to have the wooden sticks. A dispensary in New York City is offering carrier pigeon delivery, so now your supply can get high before you do. Getting my nighttime swag level checked. Pretty sure it's gonna be off the chart. President Trump has commuted the prison sentence for former Representative George Santos, though still no word yet on Katara. ChatGPT announced that you'll soon be able to sext with the AI. So I guess OpenAI is making their own beep boop bop house. Want to be the Vice President of the United States for Halloween? You're going to need a great haircut, a great suit, and a couch with a tiny little hole in it. 4 years ago on Halloween, I went to Bobby Mackey's to ghost hunt. The scariest part of the entire night was getting there after driving 8 hours straight, trying to use the bathroom, and finding blood on the toilet paper. Didn't see a ghost, but I did end up seeing a doctor. I got called hot and a snitch by a ghost. What do I do with that? Tyra Banks is releasing a hot ice cream, also known as milk. Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84, which is crazy because I didn't know it took hard-boiled eggs that long to expire.
Now, we all have dated a cousin or two before in the past, right?
No, I can pretty confidently say that I haven't dated one, let alone two of my cousins. But I guess to be fair, they're not great looking either, so. The Simpsons are now in Fortnite, and I personally can't wait to one-shot Peter Griffin with Homer Simpson while Hank Hill and Bob Belcher watch in horror. That's a real thing you can do now. I unfortunately learned the hard way that making your entire personality Halloween and horror movies doesn't make you goth, but it does get you screened for autism. I probably could have had a great goth phase, but I was afraid to commit, all right? I was like Gerard halfway. I looked like the singer of My Chemical Imbalance. Studies are showing that if you drink more when you're younger, you'll have more career success when you're older. Yes, that's right. If you get loaded while you're young, you'll stay loaded for life. I should be the most successful man in history. Burger King has revealed a new green Frankenstein burger for Halloween, which is weird because I thought their burgers were always green. I ghost hunt, all right? I track down all the girls that don't message me back. Who are you gonna call? Apparently not me. A Labubu movie is in the works at Sony, and they promise that it'll be just as expensive and disappointing as buying the real doll. I have two dogs. One is deaf, and one is a French bulldog, so they might as well both be deaf. This morning, Roblox, Fortnite, and Snapchat were all down due to an internet outage, which would be really terrible if I was still in middle school. He's asleep, but I can wake him up real quick. Hanky. You wanna go bye-bye? You wanna go bye-bye? I once went on a date with a girl who thought she was a psychic, and she wasn't. Otherwise, she would have known the whole date was going to be a huge waste of time. I once went on a date with a girl who thought she was a psychic. She said she was a psychic medium, but we were in a Starbucks, so I'm pretty sure that makes her a psychic grande. I saw that story about the Campbell's Soup executive saying that the soup was for, like, poor people, which I thought was funny because Campbell's is not cheap. How rich and out of touch do you have to be to think that a $5 can of soup is cheap and for poor people? It's a good day if I can choose Campbell's over the off-branded Aldi's. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but good for him, I guess. Is the show Oz canon to the Wicked universe? Do I need to watch Oz before I watch Wicked? I saw Wicked today, and I really did not care for the character of Bach because his whole storyline is just being mad Glinda doesn't like him, right? He's a real tin cell. Study has found that 36% of Black Friday deals aren't actually deals. So just start taking it, you know? Just steal shit. Walmart can take the hit. Charlie would like me to inform everybody that she had an assassination attempt on her life last night. Late last night, she went out to go potty, and an owl tried to eat her. She is convinced the owl is from China. I am not. However, she did want me to inform everybody that she is okay, and that her security will be bolstered in the future so that something like this does not happen again. Thank you for your time. McDonald's put out an AI Christmas advertisement that the developers said they spent many sleepless nights staying up and writing prompts for. Which is crazy because the ad feels more empty than the calories in McDonald's fries. Apparently the Hamburglar has graduated to art theft. Some guys' wives fantasize about like reenacting 50 Shades of Grey. My wife has been fantasizing about reenacted heated rivalry with me as Shane. I've been having a lot of problems with AT&T lately. And in trying to resolve the issues, I learned that the president of the company is named John Stanky, which is fitting because that's exactly what their customer service is like. The only way the name could be more fitting is if his name was John Unhelpful Call Center. My wife is flying for the first time tomorrow, and she said she was nervous that the plane was going to go down. I told her not to worry because it's rare that planes go down. I've barely gotten one to kiss me. My doctor went ahead and gave me a CPAP machine, which is great because I always wanted to know what it'd feel like to sleep in a gas mask. Can't wait to know what it's like to sleep in the trenches during World War I. I feel the same way about 2025 that I ended up feeling about the Stranger Things finale. You know, it had its moments, but it was still kind of a waste. Happy New Year for me and the dog. Last week, the internet thought Trump had died. And this week, I'm betting he wishes he had. I just saw this dog kennel for sale in my area, which I think is perfect if your dog is Cerberus. This looks like the thing they locked up the velociraptors in Jurassic Park. This is the perfect kennel if you're a werewolf and you want to protect people on the full moon. I'm gonna get it for my 4-pound Frenchie. There might soon be Ozempic for dogs. And if you thought getting them to take a pill was hard, wait till you try poking them with a needle. I learned this week that North Carolina may soon ban cops from having sex on duty, which I just kind of assumed was a thing already. Some are even calling the state-sanctioned cop blocking. See what I did there? Rudy Giuliani suffered a fractured vertebrae after a car accident this week, proving once and for all he really does have a spine. 18 people were arrested for drunk driving after a Nickelback concert. Though, to be fair, They had to be drunk to get through a Nickelback concert. I started the day off by listening to Hayley Williams' new album, and then I immediately used Sabrina Carpenter's new album as a chaser. I was going to record a video, but I can't move. She sleeps like a vampire. Hank, do you want a cookie? Hank, do you want to go bye-bye? Gordon Ramsay has partnered with Burger King to design a burger. All of this is in an effort to make the world's first edible piece of trash. A man was arrested on drug charges while headed to Burning Man. Officers initially became suspicious when the man told them he was headed to Burning Man. A North Carolina proposal would ban cops from being able to have sex in squad cars, on the clock, or with trainees. Something I just kind of assumed cops weren't allowed to do in the first place. If they're caught doing any of these three things, they'll have to turn in their badge, gun, and their lube. George R.R. Martin was confronted by a fan who told him to hand over the last Game of Thrones book to another author. Too bad nobody did that with the show, though. Taylor Swift has announced a new album, which is great news for fans like my wife, who will listen to it on repeat, and terrible news for me, who will be with my wife while she listens to it on repeat. I think they're going to broadcast the wedding. I think if they don't already have a Netflix deal, they will. I think they're going to broadcast it, or we'll get a documentary, and it might end up in theaters. It's going to be like when Princess Diana got married. There's going to be memorabilia, except instead of plates, it's going to be a vinyl record that's twice as much as the other ones. I would be willing to put a large sum of money on the fact that one of the wedding colors will also be lavender. If you know, you know. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe, and leave me a comment on which one was your favorite. Bye.